자, 그러면 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 사회를 받은 저는 강원대학교 인문대학에 근무하는 황소연이라고 합니다. 그리고 오늘 강연을 갖다 해주실 마이클 김 선생님은 잘 아시다시피 현재 구글 스타트업 아시아 태평양 총괄이시며 구글 캠퍼스 서울의 총괄을 갖다 담당하고 계십니다. 그래서 상당히 많은 사회적 활동을 하고 있으면서도 특히 2015년부터는 한국 노인을 위한 청년들의 자선단체인 코리안 레거시 커미티를 설립한 그런 경력도 가지고 계십니다. 그래서 그러면은 오늘 강연은 전체 질문과 강연을 포함해서 40분으로 진행하도록 그렇게 하겠습니다. 그러면 마이클 선생님 잘 부탁드립니다.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Okay, great. 안녕하세요. 저는 구글 for Startups 아태적 총괄 마이키입니다. 반갑습니다. It always feels great to come to Korea. 왜냐면 I'm based in Singapore. 그래서 거기는 날씨가 너무 더워서 지금 1년 동안 35도예요. 그래서 지금 한국 가을 날씨 들어오면서 기분이 너무 좋아요. I'm gonna try to speak most of it in English because it's a little easier for me. 근데 가끔씩 그냥 한국말로 가끔씩 쓸게요. I think the 통역사 are gonna have a big problem today. 미안해요. So today's 강의, I had to split into two parts. 왜냐면 오늘은 아마 다들 AI 관심이 많아서 그 얘기를 하고 싶어서 좀 준비를 많이 했는데 반은 구글 for Startups이 뭐냐? So I tried to do my best to split this into two parts. One is what is Google for Startups and what are we doing to support young entrepreneurs? And then number two, I have no doubt you're very interested. How is Google approaching AI? How is this tech company going to support the next generation of AI entrepreneurs? So we have two parts. I also know we have a short 40 minutes, and I know that you have some Q&A. So I'm going to try to go through as quickly as possible so that you can get to some of your questions, which I think is much more important. Google for Startups. What do we do and why do we do it? The most important thing here is the first line, leveling the playing field. This team, out of all the teams at Google, there's YouTube, there's Google Play, there's Changu, there's Gmail, but why was this team created? It had one mission, level the playing field, meaning for any person out there that has a dream to build a company, Google should be able to support them. And so that is our mission, that is our mantra. How do we do this? We do this in a few ways. We have a series of physical campuses all around the world. There's 6 of them actually around the world, and there's one in Seoul. In Asia, there's only 2 startup campuses, one in Seoul, one in Tokyo. 혹시나 서울을 가시면 그 코엑스 건너편에 그 스타트업 캠퍼스가 있는데요. This is a very, very rare resource. There's only 6 in the world. What you can do here, at any time during the day, you can walk in, get free training, free mentorship. You want to reach out to a Googler, or you're thinking about going abroad. 요즘 한국 창업들은 항상 해외 진출을 하고 싶잖아요. 근데 영국 친구가 없다. 아니면 사우파울로 가고 싶은데 사람이 몰라요. That's our job. Our job is to connect you to the world, and it is an incredibly rare resource. This campus doesn't exist many places. If you take a look at this map, this shows you our global reach. And I think it's actually quite special. The fact that out of all the countries in Asia, one of the very rare places to have a campus was in Korea. You know, Korea is probably one of the most dynamic startup ecosystems in the world for 3 reasons. Number 1, every ecosystem needs talent. Korea has one of the most educated populations in the world, also incredibly forward-thinking. Number 2, infrastructure. 솔직히 말씀드리면 저는 실리콘밸리에서 평생 살았는데요. You know, I think sometimes 한국 친구들 실리콘밸리 가면 꿈이 있는 것 같아요. 아, 거기가 미래다. You know what the 미래 is? 서울 2호선. 2호선을 타면 어떻게 밑에서 5G를 보면서 드라마 보면 사람들이 눈물로 나와요. 아침에 출근하면서. You go to San Francisco, 구글 버스 타면 와이파이가 맨날 끊겨. You are living in one of the most infrastructure forward places in the world. You know, 한 2주 전에 잠깐만 들어왔는데요. 깜짝 놀랐어요. 북한산 갔는데요. 꼭대기 아줌마들 거기서 유튜브 보시는 거예요. 미국에서 어떤 산을 가면서 can you get 5G and watch Netflix? So that says a lot about the Korean infrastructure. And then number 3, we had talent, infrastructure. What's number 3? What makes Korea unique? 원래는 한국은 you have the entrepreneurship mindset. We've always been a country that has to fight above our weight. And that's what makes this country so unique. And so I just wanted to show you here. 혹시나 도움이 필요하시면 and you need some support, take advantage of Google for Startups campus in Seoul. What kind of programs do we offer? Well, one of them is our Founders Academy that we're really focused, as I said, leveling the playing field. So one of our focuses, 특히 한국에는, is supporting women founders. You know, in Korea, less than 10% of founders, 창업자, are women. So we want to increase that number. So we have a Women Founders Academy. We also have a startup school. This one is really fun. 12주 동안, for free, you could participate in marketing, going global, partnerships. It's an incredibly unique program. There's many programs that I want to get through, but I thought I'd share this because a lot of people have questions and they want support, and it actually exists. 오늘은 특히 한국에서 강의하니까 I asked my team to post some Korean examples. What have we done in Korea? One of the things that I'm very proud about is 최근에 올해 아마 2월 숙명여대랑 파트너십을 맺었어요. Why? Again, as I said, our team's mantra, our vision, is making sure we level the playing field. So in Korea, we realized one of our goals to make Google unique is we wanted to support women entrepreneurs, and so that there are more women entrepreneurs in the future. As I look in this crowd tonight, actually the majority of you are also women, which says a lot about your interest and where this country is going. And so I just wanted to highlight that we partnered with Sungmyeong Women's University to develop the first women's startup school. We also work with the government. Earlier this year, we had hosted an event with the US Embassy to bring together women leaders to ensure, are we developing the right strategy? Are we asking the right questions so that the future generation of women in this country have the same opportunity to build? So I just wanted to give you a sense of what is Google for Startups doing and how you can have access to that. One last piece before I get to the AI part is this is a very special year for my team. Since I joined the team, I've always wanted to create a Women Founders Fund. And this year, for the first time, we created the very first APEC Women Founders AI Startups Fund. We're going to skip the video because we don't have much time. But in Asia, in the region, less than 6% actually of founders are women. So this year, we launched the very first fund specifically for AI startups founded by women. This year, we rewarded 2 or 3 startups actually in Korea, 3 in Japan, and 2 in India. This is quite unique, and it says so much about the Korea ecosystem. So hopefully next year, if you have interest or you are building an AI company, I truly hope you try to apply for this fund. Okay, part 2. I think this is what you're probably more interested in. How is Google approaching AI, this juggernaut of a company? Actually, even though right now you're probably feeling, because of recent news, AI just kind of hit, actually, our CEO in 2016 said, we are an AI-first company. And most of the tools that you use, search, Gmail, YouTube, most of the ads you see, there is already an AI layer there. So even though 요즘 그게 막 뜨고 있지만 우리는 원래는 우리 대표님, 순달 대표님은 원래는 2016년에 구글은 AI first 회사다. So it's kind of I think a good reference to remember that this was one of the most early building blocks. 혹시 이거는 다 아시죠? This was one of the very first instances the world got to see, I think, a true application of AI. Obviously, you guys know this game, and this was Google's DeepMind AlphaGo against Isidore. In a game that is 3,000 years old, with nearly 40 million users around the world, everybody was watching this game. 아직도 기억하시는지 잘 모르겠지만, in Game 2, Move 37 was historic. Out of all the professionals in the world who play this game, everyone thought, Move 37 doesn't make any sense. Later, as the game was played, people found, that was an incredibly beautiful move. Something that some of the human professionals who've been playing the game for years had never seen. Google's DeepMind AlphaGo was built off of a large language model. Basically, it's a large system that compresses a whole bunch of data that gives more options. And so I know that there's a lot of interest in AI, but I just wanted to highlight that even back then, in I think this was 2016, we got to play around with this kind of opportunity. This gives you a sense of kind of our history of how we've been developing, constantly working on our generative AI models. I think some of you are familiar with some of the items or products that we see up here. This is a core part of our business. Why? Because it supports users. Google's entire vision is, how do we make life easier for you? When it comes to search, you need to find a restaurant. You need to find a 강의. You need some information. We want to get it to you like that. And in order to do that, we have to use AI and new large language models to be able to process that for you. This is an incredibly important slide. How is our company approaching it? Well, these three words are actually quite something that we discuss a lot at the company. Bold, responsible, and together. I'm going to go through that a little bit in the next few slides, but just as a preview, we are about to embark on a very unique new chapter, not just in IT, but for the world. Pretty soon, every single thing you do, whether you're riding the taxi, eating food, going to school, turning on the lights, will have some element of AI to make your life more efficient, to make you more productive, and we feel that that's very bold. However, on the flip side, and I'm sure you've seen Terminator and you think it's scary, you're right. We have to be responsible. This is a technology that can go left, it can go right. And so in a couple slides, I'm going to share with you how are we envisioning using this responsibly. And lastly, it's not just Google. We have to build this technology together with respected professors, government organizations, think tanks, and other technology companies. This is not something where one company is going to take all. We have to build this together. And so I want to walk you through some of our AI principles. Be socially beneficial. Avoid creating or reinforcing unfair bias. Built and tested for safety. Now, you can go through this. I only want to highlight a few of these for you today. Number one, socially beneficial. So when we build products that you use, you probably all used Gmail this morning, or you can use Naver too. Naver's good too. What we're thinking is, when you're writing that email, you might have noticed, could we give you a suggestion so that you write it quicker? Maybe you're searching for a school, new shoes. I don't know, maybe you're looking for something to do on the weekend. How can we make that and deliver the answer better for you? I also want to highlight that it has to be accountable to people. I want to reiterate that. Number four, this technology has to be accountable to people. A lot of times when people see this technology, they might get a little scared. 좀 떨리잖아요. You don't know if you can control it. Well, one of the things or parameters that we wanted to make sure is, this is something that's going to be beneficial to people and that we are held accountable. I also want to share on the flip side, applications we will not pursue. Our team has given a lot of thought about how to harness the power of this technology. Again, I don't want to read through all of them, but I just want to share a little bit or a few of these. Number one, technologies that can cause or likely to cause overall harm. Yes, like any technology, it could be used in a myriad of ways, and we're aware that it could be used in a different way where it cannot be socially beneficial. So we are conscious of that. How do we think about building products and also developing the right parameters so that AI doesn't harm people? Number two, weapons or other technologies whose principal purpose or implementation is to cause or directly facilitate injury to people. This one is incredibly important. As I said, AI can be incredibly beneficial for your life, and it will be applied in many different aspects. But because it can have that much of a reach, there is a possibility that it could be, on the flip side, something that is used to hurt people, to harm people, and we are very much aware of this. So in our guiding principles, as our product teams, engineers, and leaders are looking at this technology, we are constantly referencing our AI guiding principles. There are three main buckets now I want to go through on how our company is approaching AI. These three buckets. One is, it has to improve knowledge and learning. Number two, which I think is most applicable to all of you, boost productivity, make your life easier. I'm going to go through some examples of that. And lastly, it's not just about Google building products. It's how can we give this technology out so that many of you, the young entrepreneurs here, the trailblazers, will build on top of this so that you use this as a platform for future technologies. Now I want to go through some examples of each of these. Okay, improve knowledge and learning. As you know, our biggest product that most of you use is search. Our mantra, our vision is organizing the world's data so you get what you need. Here's an example of how we use a little bit of our AI-powered overviews on our next generation search. I'm just curious here. How many use Google search once a week? Can you raise your hand? Oh, not really. Not many. 혹시 여기 이 자리에서 구글 서치 일주일에 한 번만 사용한 분들이 있나요? Not a lot. Not a lot. Okay, I'm going to ask the next question. 네이버 검색 일주일에 한 번씩? How many people? You guys are too quiet. Come on, you were in Korea. I know you guys using Naver. I just wanted this is an example of how we are thinking about developing this search tool so that it's easier for you to get the things you need. Obviously, Google search is the #1 product. Here's another good example of how we're using generative AI and our power. Now with your phone, you could put it against a flower, an image, you go to an art gallery, or even recently, something is a little weird on your arm. 좀 간지러워요. You put your phone on and it gives you what kind of condition you may have. So now we're taking something that's always in your pocket and giving you the ability to assess, are you healthy? You go to a museum to learn something, but you can't raise your hand. Now just apply your phone. Or you're walking around, 저도 개인적으로 식물 키우는 거 너무 좋아하는데요. Sometimes, 죽고 있고, you wonder 왜 이 식물 죽고 있지? Now use your phone, it'll give you an answer. 물을 너무 많이 줬다. That's my biggest problem. But these are small applications that could be actually monumental in how your life proceeds. In many of these instances, we could be saving you 5 minutes of your day, a few hours of waiting in an 응급실. Those things will constantly, exponentially change the way you live your life. Number two, how do we use this technology to boost productivity? I heard that many of the people attending are students. 혹시 여기 학생들은 잠깐만 손을 들 수 있나요? A lot of students? All right. How many of you guys have to write essays? No? 진짜? 다행이다. 저는 대학교 다니면서 매주 Really? You guys don't have to write essays? Okay. One of the things that we know, even for us as we're constantly traveling, is we want to make work more productive for folks. So a big thing for us is boosting productivity and creativity. Let's go through and give you some examples. Before I want to give you a quick video, and can we show the video on this one? All right. I'm curious. How many 여기 혹시 Bard 써본 적 있어요? Anyone here use Bard? One. Oh, thank you. Anyone? A few? Great. Obviously, this is one of our greatest new features that we launched. We're constantly improving it. But this is also going back to how can you use Bard as this chat engine to be able to get the things that you need. I also now want to talk about how, the third bucket, we're enabling this technology for you. It's not just a matter of how Google is developing products. How do we leverage this platform? How do we open source technology? So anyone from Busan to Gyeongju, Incheon, there may be somebody right now in Ulsan that has a dream. You don't need to work at Google, but you should have the technology to use it. So how are we using this to enable others to build great products? You might be familiar with this, but this is one of the things where we offered different third-party vendors to be able to use our technology to drive more adoption of products. And I also want to walk through, there's many examples here, but I want to walk through some very unique examples of how AI has been used in either health, climate, cities, education, and work. I know we're almost nearly over half, right? So we don't have much time, and I want to leave time for Q&A, but I'll just go through a few of these. In health, in Japan, they've been able to use some of our AI technologies to detect breast cancer early. And actually, if I want to go back, actually, oops. I kind of want to give an example here. The human body has 200 million proteins. And a PhD student, to map one protein, it used to take 3 to 5 years. So when you're a PhD student, you're working hard, you just want to map one protein, 3 to 5 years. We developed a technology called AlphaFold. Now you can map all 200 million proteins in a day. So what does that do? What does that allow you? Time. So a lot of times when you look at this technology, you're thinking, is it going to take over the world? Well, there are many applications that I can go over, example after example, of how not only now with mapping proteins, we can find different ways to cure cancer, hopefully faster. We're also saving PhD folks time by using these generative AI models and our large language models to be able to synthesize data quickly and get you the results faster. Education. I'm speaking in English right now, and I think in about 3 to 5 years, whether you can speak English or not won't matter. You should be able now with our technology, with I give this example of India. In India, there are about 100 languages. I know in 한국 there's only one, but sometimes 제주도 가면 저도 제주도 사람 말하는 거 나 이해가 안 돼요. My point is, now our tools are leveraged to convert 1,000 languages. What will that do when you go to a 강의? You won't have to put these things on anymore. You'll be able to digest this information just by using one of our language models. I'm almost getting to the end here, but I also just wanted to finish with, we really have to also be careful. How do we promote this technology responsibly? And so I just wanted to give a few examples before we go to Q&A, because I think we're at 30 minutes? Okay. As I mentioned earlier, this technology cannot and should not be developed just by one organization. It has to be a coalition. So Google is working with numerous companies that many of you guys are aware of so that we build the right principles, we share technology so that we're building it responsibly. And actually, I just wanted to highlight just one thing here. Accountability requirements for high-risk AI systems. Just like there is a governing system, when you go outside, you can't run a red light. These are all rules that we abide by. Similarly now, we have to do the same for AI. Whether you're in Korea, you are in New York, you're in Sao Paulo, if you get to a red light, you stop. That is globally agreed. So how do we also, together with thought leaders like you, professors, government officials, develop the right systems so that this technology not only supports you globally, but there are rules along the way so that it doesn't harm people? I'll just leave you with one more thing that we're doing. 요즘 아마 좀 무서운 게 이제 사진을 보시면 이게 진짜 세상에 있나? 아니면 AI가 만들었다. If you look at this, you may think at some point in the world someone took a photo of a butterfly. But now we don't know. Maybe actually this butterfly never existed in the world. So what we're doing is building technology now with synth ID. So no matter what, you know if a photo is actually generated by AI or it is real. Now, it may seem like a very small thing, but as we continue to evolve, and I'm sure you've seen many images around the world, whether or not there was a fire or political images, it's hard to tell nowadays. So this kind of technology to remind us this was AI generated, this is real, are some of the ways we're building the guardrails so that all of you can use AI responsibly and it benefits you. I'm going to go through a little bit these slides. I know we want to get to Q&A. What I want to show actually is this. I think this is a very unique graph. 한국은 뭐 엄청 큰 나라가 아니잖아요. 하지만 look at where we are, 6. In terms of AI investment. That is incredibly inspiring. So out of all the countries to be building AI, and if you have a dream of building AI, this is actually one of the best places in the world to develop. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're thinking, I have to go to Silicon Valley, 굳이 왜? This is the place to build. I know we're almost at time here, but just I asked my team to pull some images on what makes Korea very special. I'm going to finish here to do Q&A because we're at 30 minutes, but this is kind of a side thing. 그냥 이거는 좀 different point. 근데 저는 딱 이 말씀 드리고 싶어요. 저희가 오늘 강의 오기 전에 I asked the organizers, 누구 오시나요? 그래서 뭐 학생들 많이 오고, 뭐 교수님들 많이 오고. And so I was thinking, what's the kind of true message that I want to send? 저는 지금 싱가포르 베이스고요. 거의 2주마다 해외 출장을 다녀요. What I wanted to share with all of you, this is Korea's time. Let me give you an example. 저희는 미국에서 태어났습니다. 미국에서 태어나면서 저희 이제 초등학교 가서 엄마가 항상 도시락을 싸주고 학교를 갔어요. I used to have 장조림, 김치. 냄새가 꽤 나빠요. 이제는 세계적으로 가면 김치를 너무 좋아하고 한식을 너무 좋아하고 저희 싱가포르 살고 있는데요. 바로 건너편 백화점에 뉴진스 노래 만 나오고 한식당 줄만 있고 그리고 모든 광고 한국 배우들. 한 달 전에 저 스페인 갔다 왔어요. 그 성당 앞에서 스페인 친구들 뭐 하고 있나 알아요? 블랙핑크 노래 틀고 춤을 추고 저희보다 한국말 잘하고 노래를 불러요. Why am I saying this to you? 아마 지금 해외 출장 아니면 해외에 많이 안 가시면 이거를 안 느낄 거예요. 그게 너무 아쉬운 것 같아요. 평생 동안 저는 교포라서 저는 한국 사람이다 그러면 they're always like, you're from North Korea? 김치, what's that? Now when you say you're from Korea, you guys are one of the most sexiest, hottest cultures in the world. 근데 왜냐 알아요? I have a message to the young people. 혹시 부산 아니면 서울에서 맛집 가면 아저씨들, 아줌마들 줄 서고 있나요? No. Do you know who makes the trends and says 시키고 싶어요? Who says that? Young people. I want young people to know. 지금 다들 모르겠지만 세계적으로 다들 때문에 한국이 뜨고 있어요. The young people of this country sometimes 이거를 기억을 안 하는 것 같아요. They think 나는 찬스가 없다. 너무 굳이 작은 나라에 살고 있어서 do I have an opportunity? I want to tell you, as I travel the world right now, made in Korea, I am from Korea, is something you should feel very proud about. So as I take a look at the young kids today, I know 이제 뭐 졸업하고 잡을 찾아야 되고 and you have to go do things. Don't you ever feel shame or think 나는 한국 와서 좀 부끄럽다. Don't you ever think that. Actually, in fact, you should say, where are you from? I'm from Korea. And you should feel very proud of that. 저도, it's kind of funny now. 출장 가면 I test. Where are you from? Sometimes I say 미국. I'm like, Sometimes I say, where are you from? 특히 동남아 최근에 출장 갔다 왔는데요. In Indonesia. I said, where are you from? They said, I'm from Korea. They go, 너무 가고 싶어요. So I just want to finish by saying, 특히 한국 왔으니까 this is such a special moment for Korea. I've waited all my life for Korea to be in the spotlight. So I wanted to say, 오늘 이 자리에 초대해 주셔서 너무너무 감사하고요. 앞으로 뭐 필요하신 거 있으면 꼭 캠퍼스 놀러 오세요. 네, 감사합니다. I think I went too long, sorry, but I do want to do some Q&A. 아마 질문이 있을 것 같아서 혹시 질문 있으시면 I'll take maybe how much time do I have? 10 minutes? No?
예, 마이클 선생님 감사합니다. 뭐 우리가 인터넷을 갖다 한 30년 정도 사용하면서 상당히 두려움도 많이 가지고 있는데 그런 것에 대한 여러 가지 의문점 이런 게 있으리라 생각합니다. 그래서 시간이 많지 않기 때문에 이 젊은 청중들을 갖다 중심으로 해서 질문을 갖다 받도록 하겠습니다. 질문은 한국어로 해주셔도 좋고 영어로 하시면은 통역을 하기로 했으니까 자유롭게 질문해 주시기 바랍니다. 손을 들고 이렇게 간단히 질문 좀 해주시죠. 예.
Yes. 가운데요.
네, AI는 데이터가 굉장히 중요한데 이러한 데이터의 크기가 곧 AI의 성능과 직결된다고 보거든요. 즉 이런 플랫폼을 가진 기업들의 데이터는 점점 사용할수록 복리로 데이터가 커지는데 이러한 소수의 몇몇 플랫폼 기업들이 이제 데이터를 독점하게 되고 어느 순간 없으면 안 될 존재가 되었을 때 나중에 이제 사용료를 올리거나 해도 이제 대제품이 몇 없게 되는 거죠. 즉 어느 순간 기업이 국가의 통제를 벗어나게 되면 이러한 데이터와 자본을 통해 몇몇 거대 기업들의 소수의 독점 경쟁이 되지 않을까 싶은데 그러면 구글은 이렇게 되지 않을 거라 보장할 수 있습니까?
Just to confirm, the question was, how do we manage to have diverse data? Is that it? Just to make sure. I think that's the question, right? How do we make sure that okay, great question. Actually, I'll go back to one of my examples. 최근에 우리 아테지역의 여성 파운더 펀드를 만들었잖아요. 굳이 왜 여성? One of the reasons why is 지금 not because we want to, 근데 지금은 AI 개발자 거의 다 남자들이에요. 이제 남자들도 자기 lived experience도 있고 자기 하는 방법 있고 그분들이 이제 AI를 개발하시면 inadvertently 원해서 아니지만 그런 같은 생각이 그냥 들어가요. Which means 그 여성 입장이 안 들어가잖아요. Not 무시하는 건 아니지만 sometimes they don't do that. So that's why we created the AI Women Founders Fund to ensure that different voices get in. But to your point, very good question. One of the things when we develop the AI principles is we have to have an equitable, meaning equal, and open, fair representation of many data sets. So 우리도 이제 large language model 만들면 you might have noticed there was a picture of a skin. And one of the things that our principles are talking about is race. Are you white? Are you African American? Are you Korean? And sometimes when you take an image and you hit your skin, it has to have a diverse set of views. Now you're right, we're not 100% sure and we have all the right data. And that's because it's impossible to have every single piece of data in the world. But we are aware of the problem. 일단 그거 알고 있고 그거를 어떻게 해결할까 생각 고민 많이 하고 있고. And so to say, I can't say here right now, 우리는 구글이니까 다 확실히 데이터가 깨끗하고 it's the perfect. I can't say that. But we know that we have to have diverse data sets. We're being mindful of it, and we're trying our best.
예, 아마 뭐 우리가 구글에서 책임성을 갖다 강조하고 있는데 그런 어떤 데이터 관리나 그런 어떤 문제점은 아직도 좀 남아 있는 그런 문제가 아닐까 그런 생각이 듭니다. 저기 다른 질문들 있으신가요?
I'll take that question.
네, 서울에서 내려온 최재석이라고 합니다. 오늘 훌륭한 강연 너무 감사드립니다. 간단하게 하나만 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 구글 검색 창을 가끔 쓰는데 사실 바드를 쓰려면 몇 가지 허들이 있잖아요. 그걸 혹시 통합해서 단일화하는 방법, 또 그것도 가급적이면 무료로 지금의 구글 검색 창처럼 그렇게 하는 팔러시를 혹시 생각해 보실 수 있나요? 이상입니다.
Can you translate that for me real quick? Is it just what was it? Just like how we're using Bard?
저기 구글에서 쓰고 있는 버드가 지금 사용하는 뭐 창처럼 쉽게 사용할 수 있는 그런 서비스를 제공할 수 있냐 그런 질문이신 것 같은데.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't understand. That's my bad. 아마 엄마 아빠가 지금 많이 창피할 것 같아요. 한국말 그 정도 못하니까. 죄송합니다. That's why I have to go 한글 할게요. Maybe to your point, I could talk to you just a little bit about Bard in general. So you're right. Bard we launched this year, and we're continuing to iterate. I can't get into too much, but I can say what your point is in terms of how do we continue to make it a better tool, how do we have more access for folks, are things that we're very much working on. I wish I could say more, but I know my team won't let me. But it is a work in progress. It's something that we're trying to make sure that, as the earlier question, it has enough data from different countries, different data points, different perspectives, so that the tool is more useful. You probably use Bard and it's not 100% perfect, or the answer is a little strange. Right, it happens sometimes with us too. Our engineers are aware. So we are constantly iterating, and I think if you give us time, you'll see some better models moving forward.
예, 버드는
그거 아니었나? That wasn't the answer. I mean, that wasn't the question, was it? Sorry.
좀 더 질문하시겠어요? 네, 괜찮습니까?
Oh, yeah.
Two functions. One Google search engine and another Bard engine.
Oh, I see. Two search, separating the two search engines. Oh, okay, okay.
Make them one.
Make them one. Okay, that's a good point. I will send that suggestion. Yes. I think there was a student. Do you have a question?
First of all, thank you for your wonderful presentation about Google applying AI. Before my question, please forgive me if my question is already answered. In your Google AI principles, I think I heard you mentioning Google trying to provide only real news. But because fake news widely spreads nowadays, I feel some concern. Do you have a specific idea on how to block fake news and only provide real and useful ideas?
Well, first of all, that's an amazing question. Can we give him a huge round of applause? That is an incredible question. And you're absolutely right. Fake news or fake images, like I shared earlier, are a problem. If that gets into the system and the system thinks it's real, it'll continuously propagate. You're absolutely right. So, like SynthID, we also are building tools, not just to scrape AI images or fake images, fake news as well. So we have to work with news organizations, reputable news organizations, to make sure we pull the right data. We have to work with journalists to make sure that the source of news is coming from a true source. And so when our engines are gathering all the data, it knows, this one may not come from a real news source. This one is verified. That's the simple answer. But moving forward with Twitter or X or Facebook and news feeds, there's so much content. So we are still building the right tools and working with, and that's why I said, we have to work with numerous organizations. This is not a Google problem. This is a global problem. So Microsoft, Amazon is the same problem. So we all work together to verify data because we're all using the same sets so that you have the best outcome. So I think in your life, because you're much younger, I wish I was your age, you're going to see a better version of Bard than I will. So I'm excited for you. Another question? Thank you for the question.
예, 그럼 한 분 정도 더 질문을 받도록 하죠. 어떻게 질문이 있으실까요?
Back there. I think you should come work for us. You should be our intern.
이제 게임 개발을 갓 시작한 그런 사람인데 이미 대학도 졸업했고 30대 접어들은 사람입니다. 근데 4차 산업과 5차 산업에서 도외시 되고 싶지가 않거든요. 이제 갓 프로그래밍을 시작을 했지만 명문 대학이라든지 아니면 이렇게 이름값으로 이 해당 신산업 분야에서 잘 나가기 위한 진짜 확실한 길이 있는지 그걸 묻고 싶어요. 자유롭게 무엇이든 듣고 싶습니다.
Just to confirm, it's saying, if I, is it?
There's any guaranteed way to, any famous school to get into?
To do startups? I like this question, and I'm glad this is the last one. And I'll try to do this in Korean. 저는 평생 동안 샌프란시스코 살고 거기서 태어났고 거기 실리콘밸리에서 10년 동안 일한 거예요. 2015년 투자자가 전화해서 저희가 여기 와서 작은 음식 배달 회사를 소개받고 들어간 거예요. 그때는 솔직히 마켓 커리, 타스, 쿠팡, nothing. 그때는 아마 기억 안 나지만 사람들이 많이 서울에서 이 얘기했어요. 서울에는 절대 창업이 안 될 거다. 다 미국으로 가서 실리콘밸리에서 꼭 해낸다. 지금은 그 창업 제가 들은 게 is 배달의 민족. Why I say this is 가끔씩 저희가 한국 젊은 친구들이랑 얘기하면 솔직히 자기 나라가 얼마나 좋아하는지 잘 모르는 것 같아요. 진짜 창업을 하고 싶으면 많이 필요 없어요. 5G connection, 열정, a good team, and a good idea. 저희는 인도로 가면 you think 한국이 미세먼지가 많은 것 같아요? 인도로 가요. You think 차 여기 2호선이 아줌마가 2호선 들어오면 너무 힘들어? Try riding the Jakarta train. My point is, it's mindset. 부산이나 서울이나 자카르타나 창업을 하고 싶으면 이게 뭐 좋은 프로그램을 사용하냐 아니면 꼭 큰 도시를 가야 되냐 상관 하나도 없어요. 아직도 대한민국에서 가장 큰 유니콘은 뭔지 알아요? 삼성, 현대, LG. 그때는 어떤 seed fund, 어떤 투자자, 어떤 구글 프로그램, 어떤 클라우드 크레딧 그때는 흙길 다니면서 꿈만 있었어요. 그래서 그 세대가 삼성을 만들어 있으면 어떻게 지금 부산에서 이런 좋은 백스코에서 5G 마시면서 교수님들 다 여기 있는데요. 못 하는 거예요. It's just mindset. 젊은 친구들은 그 마인드셋만 먹으면 그리고 대한민국을 그만큼 사랑하고 절대 다른 데 안 가고 절대 even KTX 안 타고 서울도 안 가서 여기서 개발하고 싶으면 2년 뒤에 여기 유니콘이 나올 거예요. 하지만 마인드셋가 프로그램에 꼭 참석해야 되겠다. 나는 서울 가야 되겠다. 거기만 가면 되겠다. 항상 그렇게 생각하면 창업뿐만 아니고요. 인생이 계속 힘들 거예요. You have everything right now to live the life you want. And if you change your mindset, 2 years from now, you won't be sitting there, you'll be sitting here giving a pitch about your unicorn. And I believe that. So 그것만 마음만 바뀌면 you don't need anything else.
네, 감사합니다. 자, 다른 일정들이 있어서 오늘 마이클 김 선생님 강의는 여기서 마치도록 하겠습니다. 대단히 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
그리고 노비에 그 오찬을 갖다가 배부하고 있으니까 그 점심을 갖다가 챙기시기 바랍니다. 그리고 내일도 다른 일정들을 갖다가 많이 참가해 주시기 바랍니다. 네, 대단히 감사합니다.